So today we're going to be having a discussion with Blake from BMT Tax Depreciation Quantity Surveyors. BMT are experts in calculating the cost of construction and also estimating tax depreciation for our clients. Depreciation is obviously a really important part of any investor's journey. And so first and foremost, Blake, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. I guess the first question, and one that we are frequently asked by a lot of investors, is, mate, exactly what is depreciation and how is it calculated?
Well, that's a great question. Depreciation is a tax deduction that all property investors can claim on their income producing properties. The deduction is based on the wear and tear of the building as it gets older and the fixtures and fittings or plant and equipment items that is contained within it.
Now that we have an understanding of exactly what depreciation is, the next question, I guess, is, well, how does it affect a property investor?
So depreciation for an investor is a really important tool and it's often overlooked by an investor. Depreciation really helps them with their cash flow. So the more deductions an investor can claim, the less tax they're going to pay. So it really reduces their holding cost over the life of holding a property. And BMT, we can provide free indicative reports to an investor to show them how much depreciation they can claim or how much they can save.
I suppose we have a lot of clients that we work with that not only do they purchase a new property, but they also purchase existing property. Is there different rules and regulations around how depreciation is calculated or claimed for new versus old property?
Yes, so there are some differences with depreciation and how it is impacted by a property being new or old. Depreciation is always worth considering for an investor, regardless of the age of the property, but as a general rule of thumb, the younger the property, the better the depreciation claim can be.
What if we have a lot of clients that purchased an existing property and they want to get a high rental return right from the start, or a few years down the track they realise that the property's gone through a lot of wear and tear and they decide to renovate? How does that impact on depreciation and in turn what they can and cannot claim?
Sure. Well, investors are always going to be entitled to claim depreciation on a property that they purchase. That building is an asset to them. But if they then go and invest more funds and improve that property, then that's going to increase the amount of depreciation they can claim because they'll be able to begin to write off all of the new improvements or the new assets that they add to the building.
So I guess what we're really getting at is that even if we've got an older style property and we put, for instance, a new oven, new stone benchtop in there, you guys will be able to come in and calculate the depreciation on that new item, and therefore they'll be able to claim its full expense, over the remaining time that they choose to use that as an investment property.
That's right.
The last question we have, and the one that we frequently get, particularly since the change in the budget, which I'm sure you guys are well versed on, what was the impact of the change in the budget, and how is that really going to change what our investors can and cannot claim moving forward on both existing and new property?
Sure. Oh, well, there have been some big changes to the tax depreciation rules surrounding property in the latest budget, but there is some good news. Depreciation is still very much an important part of owning an investment property. There's been small changes to residential properties and how much depreciation can be claimed on fixtures and fittings, but investors can still claim depreciation on the structure of their property using the same rules that have always been available, and there's been no changes to how depreciation is claimed on commercial properties as well.
That's just a really quick snapshot today of a general overview of exactly what depreciation is, how it can and can't be claimed. I think from what Blake has explained to us today, it's really important that we're claiming depreciation correctly on all our investment classes moving forward. It's also really important to realise that just because there was some significant changes to the budget out of 2017, we really need to understand that we can still claim depreciation across all asset classes, and it's still really beneficial moving forward for all of our investors because we can get a fairly significant claim year on year regardless of the asset type. So Blake, thank you very much for coming in today. We really appreciate your guidance and your help for all of our investors. And we look forward to potentially getting you in for some more videos down the track. If anybody out there has any further questions at all about depreciation and how it impacts their investment property, please feel free to talk to your property strategist at any point in time.